Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something pretty important,
Yeah.
uh, especially when we're thinking about, AI and the future of work,
Yeah, absolutely.
this whole concept of Agile.
Right.
Now, some of you might be rolling your eyes thinking, ugh, not another Agile 101,
Yeah.
but I promise we're going way beyond just the buzzwords here.
Right.
We're really going to try to, dig into what is the essence of this thing,
That's right.
right? And we've got some fascinating research and insights to share with you guys,
I'm excited.
including a look at the surprising origins of some common management practices.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Get this, we might be able to trace some of this stuff back to agriculture and forced labor.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Interesting.
And then we're also going to uncover this story about this paper from the 1970s
Okay.
that basically accidentally created this whole waterfall work style,
Yeah.
even though it was meant to be a critique of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's a fascinating little historical twist.
It is fascinating.
And what's interesting, too, is that a lot of people still associate Agile with, specific methodologies.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, but it's not really the whole picture.
So it's more than just a set of processes? Or...
Yeah, exactly. Agile is really a mindset.
Okay.
It's a cultural approach to work
Okay.
that prioritizes adaptability, flexibility, continuous improvement, a laser focus on the customer.
Yeah.
And in today's world where AI is changing the game so rapidly, these things aren't just nice to haves anymore.
Right.
They're essential survival skills.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's less about rigid processes and more about a way of thinking, a way of being?
Precisely.
Okay. I'm already intrigued.
And here's another really intriguing fact.
Okay.
Those well-known Agile frameworks, like Scrum,
Yeah.
they actually predate the formal definition of Agile itself.
What?
It's kind of crazy.
Hold on. So
Yeah.
the tools existed
It's almost like the tools existed before the philosophy was fully articulated.
before the Agile Manifesto.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So I guess this begs the question then.
Yeah.
Is the term Agile methodologies even accurate?
Yeah.
It seems like a bit of a paradox.
Yeah, you're right.
Right, because Agile's all about adapting and being flexible.
Yeah.
But methodology sounds so fixed and rigid.
You hit the nail on the head.
So
When we talk about Agile, we're talking about fluidity, adaptability, making decisions based on the unique context of each situation.
right.
Methodologies, on the other hand, tend to be more like recipes,
Okay.
like a predetermined set of steps that lead to a specific outcome.
Yeah.
These two concepts are fundamentally at odds with each other.
All right, so if Agile is more this mindset, this cultural shift,
Right.
then what role do these processes and tools play?
Right.
Like you mentioned Scrum, for example.
Yeah.
How do those fit into the picture?
Yeah, think of them as support structures.
Okay.
Like scaffolding for agility. So to truly achieve agility in your work, you need processes and tools that support that goal.
Makes sense.
But here's the crucial point.
Okay.
The tools themselves aren't agile.
Okay.
Agile is what allows those tools to be used effectively,
I see.
to be adapted and tweaked to fit the specific challenges you're facing.
So it's about using the right tool for the job and being flexible enough to change tools when needed.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes it's about recognizing when a tool has become a hindrance rather than a help.
Right.
And there's this concept in the Agile world called anti-patterns.
Anti-pattern.
Yeah, and these are common practices that, despite their good intentions, actually hinder agility.
Interesting.
So, for instance, blindly following a process without considering the specific context
Right.
can lead to rigidity and inefficiency.
I like that word anti-patterns. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a reminder that even with the best of intentions, we
Yeah.
can fall into these traps that actually limit our agility.
Yeah.
Can you give us another example of an anti-pattern? Something maybe our listeners might encounter in their own work.
Yeah. Another common one is overemphasizing best practices.
Ah. Okay.
So, while best practices can be helpful as starting points,
Yeah.
treating them as rigid rules can stifle innovation and prevent teams from finding the best solutions for their unique circumstances.
Okay.
Remember, Agile is all about adapting and experimenting to find what works best in each situation.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that context is everything.
Right.
Blindly following a set of best practices without considering the specific context of the work
Yeah.
can actually backfire.
Right.
What do you
So
think?
agility is about being mindful about constantly assessing and adapting to the situation at hand.
Okay.
And that brings us to another important point.
Okay.
Agile isn't just for software development.
Oh,
Yeah, the principles can be applied to almost any area of life.
okay.
From personal goal setting to managing family dynamics,
Yeah.
even navigating a chaotic grocery store.
So Agile is about more than just work. It's a way of life.
In a way, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any like personal examples of how you've applied Agile principles outside of work?
Yeah, I do.
I'm always looking for ways to be more adaptable in my own life.
Well, I find the Agile principle of iterative progress incredibly helpful for personal projects.
Okay.
Like, for instance, when I decided to learn a new language,
Okay.
I didn't try to master it all at once.
Right.
I broke the learning process down into smaller, manageable chunks,
Okay.
focusing on one aspect at a time.
Yeah.
So I started with basic vocabulary and grammar,
Yeah.
then gradually work my way up to more complex sentence structures and conversations.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So by breaking down this overwhelming task of learning a new language
Right.
into smaller iterations,
Right.
I was able to stay motivated and make consistent progress.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It shows how Agile principles can be applied to like personal goals, breaking down complex tasks into smaller, more achievable steps.
Right.
It's about finding that sense of calm in the chaos of learning something new.
Exactly. And that brings us to the heart of why Agile is so relevant in today's world.
Okay.
It's not a coincidence that Agile arose as a response to the growing complexity of our work environments.
Right.
It's a way of finding peace and making progress amidst the constant change and uncertainty.
So Agile is a way to deal with the increasing complexity of modern work.
Yeah,
But we were talking about AI earlier.
right.
How does AI fit into all of this?
Right.
It's not like Agile was specifically designed for the AI era, right?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Agile emerged as a response to complexity in general, which predates the current AI boom.
Okay.
However, what's happening now is that AI is adding another layer to this complexity.
Right.
So it's accelerating the need for agile approaches.
Okay.
And to understand this, it's helpful to differentiate between difficult and complex.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What's the difference between difficult and complex in this context?
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's not just about how hard something is.
you're right. Think of it this way. Moving a boulder is difficult. It requires a lot of effort, but it's not necessarily complex.
Right.
The steps are straightforward and the outcome is predictable.
Yeah.
Now, keeping a spouse happy, that's complex.
Oh, that's good.
And there are so many factors at play,
Yes.
Emotions, individual needs, external pressures.
Right.
And those factors are constantly changing and interacting in unpredictable ways.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So difficult tasks are like moving that boulder.
Right.
They might require a lot of effort, but the path is clear.
Yeah.
Complex tasks, on the other hand, are more like navigating a constantly shifting landscape where the goalposts are always moving.
Precisely.
Right.
And there's a framework called Synefin that categorizes different types of work based on their complexity.
Okay.
And the Synefin framework suggests that Agile is particularly well suited for complex work.
Wow.
Because it embraces change, encourages experimentation, and promotes iterative progress,
Yeah.
allowing teams to adapt and navigate the ever-changing landscape of complex challenges.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So Agile is not just about dealing with difficulty, it's about thriving in complexity.
Exactly.
And in a world where AI is constantly changing the rules of the game, that ability to adapt and navigate complexity seems more valuable than ever.
Absolutely. And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
Fantastic. I can't wait to dive deeper into that.
We'll explore how Agile can help you navigate the complexities of this AI-powered future.
Yeah.
Develop the skills you need to thrive.
Right.
And find that sense of calm amidst the chaos.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
All right.
See you next time.
So we've talked about how Agile is this mindset, for navigating complexity.
Yeah.
And this AI revolution is like throwing complexity at us faster than ever.
Yeah, no kidding.
So-
So what does that mean for the future of work? Like, what do we need to actually be good at to survive this thing?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
It feels like every day there's a new headline about AI taking over jobs.
Right.
So how does Agile help us humans stay relevant in this crazy world?
Well, first, let's just acknowledge that AI is exceptionally good at certain tasks.
Okay.
Things that are repetitive, predictable, rule-based activities.
Okay.
So think data entry, basic customer service interactions,
Right.
even some aspects of financial analysis.
Yeah.
Those are the tasks that are most vulnerable to automation.
So jobs that involve a lot of routine and repetition.
Exactly.
Those are the ones that are on the chopping block, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so that's a little unsettling.
Yeah.
Where does Agile fit into all of this?
This is where Agile comes in.
Okay.
By embracing an Agile mindset, we can shift our focus away from these routine tasks
Okay.
and move towards skills that AI, at least for now, struggles with.
So Agile helps us move away from the jobs that AI is good at.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are these uniquely human skills then?
It's all about embracing the unpredictable, complex problem-solving creativity,
Okay.
critical thinking, emotional intelligence, adaptability.
Yeah.
These are the skills that become even more valuable in an AI-driven world. Because AI can't do those things.
Right.
It's about, being able to navigate ambiguity,
Yeah.
finding solutions where there's no clear roadmap.
So instead of fearing AI as like this job stealer,
Right.
we should see it as a collaborator.
Exactly.
Like it's freeing us up to focus on these higher level tasks.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a much more optimistic way of looking at it.
Think of it like this. AI takes care of the busy work,
Though.
leaving us humans to tackle the truly challenging and interesting problems.
I like that.
This collaboration, this synergy between human and artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
that's where the real magic happens.
But let's be realistic.
Sure.
Not everyone is naturally comfortable with ambiguity or thrives in constantly changing environments.
Right.
So how does Agile actually help people develop these skills if they don't come naturally?
Well, that's a great question. And Agile isn't about turning everyone into a chaos-loving maverick. It's about creating a culture, a work environment that encourages experimentation, learning, and collaboration.
Yeah.
So those Agile values like transparency, continuous feedback, psychological safety,
Okay.
those create a space where it's okay to fail, to
Yeah.
learn from mistakes, to constantly iterate.
Can you give us an example of how those values might play out in like a real work environment?
Sure. Imagine a team that's working on a new product development.
Okay.
In a traditional hierarchical setting, there might be a lot of fear around admitting mistakes
Oh, yeah?
or suggesting new ideas that deviate from the original plan.
Right.
But in an Agile environment, the focus is on continuous improvement,
Okay.
learning from experience.
Yeah.
So if a team member encounters a problem or has a new idea,
Yeah.
they're encouraged to share it openly without fear of judgment.
That's good.
And this open communication, this willingness to experiment,
Yeah.
that's what allows Agile teams to adapt quickly and find innovative solutions.
It sounds like Agile kind of empowers people to take ownership, to be proactive problem solvers,
Exactly.
rather than just passively waiting for instructions.
Right. Agile emphasizes self-organizing teams where individuals are empowered to make decisions
Okay.
and take responsibility for their work.
Yeah.
This not only fosters a sense of ownership,
Right.
but it also creates a more dynamic and responsive work environment.
And it makes sense.
Remember, in the world of complex work,
Yeah.
the answers are rarely clear-cut.
Right.
It's about trying things out, adapting to feedback, and constantly learning.
So for someone who's used to like a very traditional top-down way of working,
Right.
this shift to a more agile way of doing things can be a pretty big change.
Yeah, it can be a big change.
So how do you suggest people start making that transition?
Well, it doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing proposition.
No.
You can start by incorporating some of the core Agile principles into your current work style.
Like what?
So, for example, instead of trying to plan everything up front,
Okay.
break your work down into smaller, manageable chunks and iterate based on feedback.
Right.
Instead of working in isolation, foster a culture of collaboration
Okay.
and open communication within your team.
Gotcha.
Even small changes like these can make a big difference in your team's agility
Okay.
and ability to respond to change.
So it's about taking those incremental steps,
Exactly.
experimenting with different agile practices,
Right.
and finding what works best for your specific context.
Exactly. It's about embracing that Agile mindset of continuous improvement and adaptation.
Okay. That's really helpful advice.
Good.
So we've talked a lot about like the external challenges,
Right.
AI changing the nature of work and all of that.
Right.
But what about the internal challenges?
Yes.
Like how does Agile help individuals kind of navigate that emotional roller coaster
Yeah, that's a good point.
that often comes with all this uncertainty and change?
Agile's emphasis on collaboration and open communication is key here.
Okay.
Teams that work in an agile way are constantly communicating, sharing information,
Okay.
supporting each other. This creates a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose,
Right.
which can be incredibly grounding during times of change.
That makes sense.
It's like having a built-in support system within your team,
Right.
knowing that you're not facing these challenges alone.
It sounds like Agile can help create that sense of psychological safety,
Exactly.
which is so important when people are feeling anxious about the future.
Absolutely. And remember, Agile values individuals and interactions over processes and tools.
Right.
It's about creating a work environment where people feel valued, heard, and respected.
Yeah.
And that sense of psychological safety,
Yeah.
that's crucial for fostering creativity, innovation, and resilience.
It's not just about the processes. It's about creating that culture where people feel supported,
Exactly.
empowered to do their best work.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that people are at the heart of agility.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Good. I'm glad.
But for someone who's maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this talk of AI and the future of work, what's like the one key takeaway you'd want them to remember?
The key takeaway is this: don't let fear paralyze you.
Okay.
Embrace the change. Cultivate an agile mindset.
Yeah.
And focus on developing those uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
Yeah.
By doing so, you position yourself not as a victim of the AI revolution,
Right.
but as a leader, a collaborator, a shaper of the future.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a message I think we all need to hear. Okay, so we've talked about Agile as this like mindset, right? A cultural shift
Right.
that helps us deal with complexity and all the change that's happening.
Right.
But I'm curious for our listeners who are thinking, okay, this all sounds great in theory,
Yeah,
but where do I even begin? Like, what's a practical first step
that's a great question.
to start being more agile?
One of the most powerful and yet deceptively simple agile practices is reflection.
Reflection.
Yeah.
That sounds almost too simple.
Like, no, right?
I thought Agile was all about like fancy frameworks and processes.
Right. Well, remember, Agile is about principles, not prescriptions.
Oh.
And the principle of continuous improvement is at the heart of it all.
Okay.
So whether you're using a formal framework like Scrum or simply trying to be more agile in your daily life,
Yeah.
taking time for reflection is crucial.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's about constantly evaluating and adjusting
Right.
rather than blindly following a set of rules.
Exactly.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? Like, how do we make reflection a part of our routine?
Well, there are many different ways to incorporate reflection into your routine.
Okay.
One simple but effective approach is to schedule regular retrospectives.
Retrospectives.
Yeah.
What's that?
So this could be a short meeting with your team at the end of each week,
Okay.
or even just a few minutes of quiet contemplation at the end of each day.
Okay.
The key is to create a dedicated space for reflection
Gotcha.
and make it a habit.
So it's about making time for reflection, even if it's just a few minutes each day.
Exactly.
What kind of questions should we be asking ourselves during these reflection periods?
Well, some helpful questions to consider might be, what went well this week or this day? What could have gone better?
Okay.
What did we learn?
Okay.
What can we do differently next time?
Gotcha.
The goal is to identify areas for improvement
Right.
and come up with actual steps to make those improvements.
It's about turning reflection into action,
Exactly.
using those insights to actually get better.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm ready to embrace this agile mindset.
All right.
I'm reflecting, I'm adapting,
Good.
I'm ready to take on this AI future.
Right.
What specific skills or areas of expertise should I
Yeah.
be focusing on to make sure I'm not left behind in this whole job market thing?
Well, the skills that are most future-proof, so to speak,
Okay.
are those that tap into our uniquely human capabilities.
Okay, like what?
So think critical thinking, complex problem-solving creativity,
Yeah.
emotional intelligence, the ability to connect seemingly disparate ideas.
Okay.
These are the skills that AI, at least for the foreseeable future, will struggle to replicate.
So we're talking about skills that go beyond just technical know-how.
Right.
It's about being adaptable, a quick learner, a creative problem solver.
Absolutely.
It's about those soft skills that are often overlooked in traditional education systems.
That's right. Technical skills are still important, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're becoming increasingly commoditized.
Okay.
What sets humans apart is our ability to think critically,
Right.
to adapt to new situations,
Yeah.
to come up with innovative solutions to complex problems.
Yeah.
These are the skills that will make you invaluable in the workplace of the future,
Okay.
regardless of your specific industry.
Can you give me an example
Sure.
of how one of these future-proof skills might actually be used in like a real work setting?
Yeah.
Let's say creativity, for instance.
Okay, so imagine you're working in marketing
Okay.
and your company is launching a new product.
Right.
AI can be incredibly helpful for analyzing data, identifying target audiences,
Right.
even generating some basic marketing copy.
Yeah.
But it's your human creativity that will take those insights
Okay.
and craft a truly compelling and engaging marketing campaign.
Okay.
So you'll use your understanding of human emotions,
Right.
your ability to tell stories, your eye for design,
Yeah.
to create something that resonates with your audience on a deeper level.
So AI can augment our abilities, but it can't replace that human touch.
Exactly.
So for our listeners who are maybe feeling a bit anxious
Right.
about this whole AI thing taking over their jobs,
Yeah.
what's like the one message you want them to take away from this whole deep dive?
The future is not something that happens to us. It's something we create.
Ooh, I like that.
So by embracing an agile mindset,
Yeah.
by focusing on developing these uniquely human skills,
Right.
we empower ourselves to not just survive, but thrive in this new era of AI.
Yeah.
We become active participants in shaping the future, not passive bystanders.
That's a great way to put it.
And that's a pretty exciting prospect, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, it seems like the key to navigating this whole AI revolution.
Yeah.
It's not about fearing the robots.
Yeah.
It's about embracing our humanness, our ability to adapt, to learn, to create.
Yeah.
Agile, in a sense, gives us a roadmap for doing that.
Beautifully put. Agile is not a silver bullet.
Right.
It's not a guarantee of success,
Sure.
but it's a powerful set of principles and practices
Yeah.
that can help us navigate the complexities of this AI-driven world
Right.
with confidence, resilience, and a sense of calm amidst the chaos.
And that is a great note to end on.
I agree.
If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity
Yeah,
and you want to learn even more about Agile and how it can help you in the future of work,
definitely.
make sure to check out the full presentation that inspired this episode.
Yes.
You can find it by clicking the thumbnail or following the link in the description below.
It's a fantastic talk.
Awesome. Until next time, fellow deep divers.
Stay agile.
Stay curious, stay adaptable, and keep embracing the change.